Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at AQA AS Psychology 2020 Paper 1 Exemplar Answers for Memory, which you need to know for AQA A-Level Psychology. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Please note that these answers have been produced with knowledge of the mark scheme but have not been approved by the mark scheme themselves. There are 3 assessment objectives, AOs, in psychology. In this video they are color-coded. AO1 Knowledge, purple. AO2 Application, blue. AO3 Evaluation, red and green. In AS there are 12 mark questions, instead of 16 mark questions. For the purpose of this video and to avoid confusion for A-Level, the 12 mark questions have been turned into 16 mark questions. A researcher investigated coding in short-term memory using the same participants in both conditions. In the first condition, he read out a list of 10 different sounding words. In the second condition, he read out a list of 10 similar sounding words. The researcher recorded how many words participants recalled correctly in each condition. Table 1 below shows the results of his study. Question 1. What do the mean values in Table 1 suggest about coding in short-term memory? Justify your answer. 2 marks. The mean values in Table 1 suggest that coding in short-term memory is based on sound, acoustic, as the mean number of words recalled is smaller when words are similar sounding than when they are different. Question 2. What do the standard deviation values in Table 1 suggest? Justify your answer. 2 marks. The standard deviation values in Table 1 suggest that there was more variability in scores in the different sounding condition, as standard deviation is greater in the different sounding condition than in the similar sounding condition. Question 3. Explain how using counterbalancing might improve the design of the study. 2 marks. Counterbalancing addresses the problem of order effects, e.g. practice. It is more likely to occur in a repeated measures design because participants took part in both conditions. By having half the participants do the conditions in a different order, any order effects affect both conditions equally. Sherry can remember her 10th birthday party when she was on holiday in France. During this holiday, her father taught her how to swim. Although it took time for her to learn, she barely has to think about how to swim now. Sherry can also remember the French words for the food she ate while they were in France, even though she did not speak any French before the holiday. Question 4. With reference to Sherry's experiences, explain 3 different types of long-term memory. 6 marks. Sherry remembering her 10th birthday party and when she was on holiday in France are examples of episodic memory because she recalls the events that took place at a specific point in time. Sherry remembering how to swim is an example of procedural memory because she is remembering an automatic action and muscle-based memory. Sherry recalling the French words for the food she ate is an example of semantic memory because it involves remembering factual and meaningful information. Question 5. Outline retroactive interference as an explanation for forgetting. 3 marks. Retroactive interference is when new, recently learnt information interferes with and disrupts the recall of previously learnt information. For example, when you learn your new mobile phone number but are unable to remember your old one, when a teacher learns all the names of their new class that they forget the names of their old class. Question 6. Briefly explain one strength of interference theory as an explanation for forgetting. 2 marks. A strength of the interference theory as an explanation of forgetting is that there is real-world research to support the theory. Baddeley and Hitch, 1977, aimed to investigate whether interference was a better explanation for forgetting than the passage of time. They asked rugby union players to recall all the names of the teams they had played against earlier in the season each week. Some of the rugby union players had missed some games due to injury. Baddeley and Hitch found that players who had played the most games forgot proportionately more games than those who had played fewer games due to injury. These results support the idea of interference theory, as the learning of new information, new team names, interfered with the memory of old information, earlier team names, as recall didn't depend on how long ago the games took place but the number of games they had played. This is a strength because it suggests that interference theory has practical implications for understanding memory in real-life situations, rather than just in controlled laboratory settings. Question 7. Describe the working memory model. 4 marks. Baddeley and Hitch, 1974, proposed the working memory model, WMM, to account for some of the limitations of the multistore model. They suggested that short-term memory, STM, is an active process used when temporarily storing and manipulating information and consists of multiple stores, not just one unitary store like the MSM suggests. The model consists of 4 components, each of which is qualitatively different especially in terms of coding and capacity. Central Executive, CE, controls the WMM and coordinates the other slave systems after reviewing information from the sensory register. It is used when dealing with any task that makes cognitive demands and has a limited capacity and can process any modality of information, modality-free. It monitors incoming data, making decisions as to what information is important and needs attention. It then allocates the information to one of the 3 slave systems: visuospatial sketchpad, phonological loop, episodic buffer. Phonological loop, PL, processes auditory, speech-based, information and preserves the order in which the information arrives. It is divided into phonological store, which holds words that are heard, and the articulatory control process, which allows for the maintenance and rehearsal of acoustic information, e.g. repeating sounds or words in a loop to keep them in the working memory while they are needed. The capacity is thought to be 2 seconds worth of what is said. Confusions often occur with similar sounding words as the coding is acoustic. Visuospatial sketchpad, versus, processes visual information through the senses or visual long-term memory, patterns of recognition and spatial information consisting of the relationship between things and perception of movement. It is divided into visual cache, which stores visual material on color and form, and the inner scribe, which deals with spatial relationships, rehearsal and the transfer of information from the visual cache to the central executive. The capacity is limited and, according to Baddeley, 2003, is about 3 to 4 seconds. Episodic buffer added to the WMM in 2000 as a temporary store for information. It is used to aid CE when it becomes overwhelmed, integrating the visual, spatial and verbal information processes by other stores and maintaining a sense of time sequencing, basically recording events, episodes that are happening. It can be seen as the storage component of the CE capacity is limited of about 4 chunks, Baddeley 2012. Question 8. Explain one limitation of the working memory model. 3 marks. A limitation of the WMM is that the theory suffers from experimental reductionism. The WMM attempts to examine complex behavior by relying on isolated variables operationalized in laboratory experiments. Furthermore, the WMM adopts a nomothetic approach since it attempts to generate universal laws regarding how STM processes information, based on dual task studies conducted under laboratory conditions. Using an ideographic approach, such as was used by Oliver Sacks with Clive Waring, Sacks, 2007, and Brenda Milner with H.M. Milner, 1957, can shed light on how STM loss can vary between people. This is a limitation because it suggests that the working memory model may oversimplify the complexities of human memory by focusing on controlled, isolated variables rather than considering the individual differences and contextual factors that can influence memory performance. By relying heavily on laboratory studies, the working memory model may not fully capture the nuances of memory in real-world situations, making it less applicable to understanding how memory functions in everyday life. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.